always had this debate thinking, well, in some ways we don't need to bring it to California because California is already ahead of everyone else in the game, and why do we need to bring this discussion here? Or in some ways there's other groups who actually are quite so green that they're unwilling to have this kind of discussion in the business community with adults who can all get this collaboration going together. And finally, we are here. And as Bob said, we moved this event around the world, and we do that because we want this dialogue and the collaborations and your expertise to be able to be shared in these different countries, because in reality, we all need it, including California. When you look at the recycling rates in the United States, it is pretty much an embarrassment. Europe is a bit better, but we're far, far from where we need to be when you look at the volume of material that we create and the lack of capacity and ability to recycle it and recover it, especially to move into what now many people talk about is the circular economy. Plastic is probably the most complex, difficult material to recover in the waste stream of municipal solid waste, and it gums up most of our old-fashioned machines. It gums up the system of recycling when you mix it with food waste. And the problem is when we have all these components put together, most of the world today does not have the capacity to recover that. So not only do we need to think about materials and how we design for recovering them and recycling them, but just the processes and the psychology of how we work in our cities to get people motivated to separate and move these things from one point to another so that we can recover it and make the value from that. And that is really what all of you in this room are doing in some way, shape, or form, or are learning about and will be able to help with. I would argue that with the experts in this room today, and some of you in the audience, almost any question around this challenge could be answered, literally. But the problem is, we all don't, as a group, have the capacity and scale to be putting this out to the planet in the way that it needs to go out. And that's why we run this event. We're very excited to have the Society of Plastic Engineers here and supporting this. The World Plastic Council is also a big supporter of us because they realize this discussion is one that has to happen for businesses to move to the next step. They've figured out how to lightweight and do things with carbon. They've looked at their water footprints. Now it's time to really start looking at waste footprint and the plastic use and the recovery of that material so that it doesn't make impacts in our daily life, which carbon doesn't always do. But when you look at plastic pollution across the world and you consider that less than 15% of all plastic is actually being recycled, and if it's not being recycled, it's getting into the river and the stream and the street, and that's causing impacts with health and water and washing and fishing and tourism and agriculture and water transport. All of these things impact billions of people every single day, where climate change might not be hitting them just yet. Plastic also has a unique feature in that it's visible, it's touchable, and it's something that is often branded. And that causes and potentially can bring a branded liability for a product as this issue becomes more and more popular around the world as a vexing issue that we all need to fix. So this is where the opportunities are. Huge amount of feedstock out there that needs to be readdressed, a huge amount of opportunity for brand engagement, customer engagement, working with the communities that your brand and company can better, and we should be proud of that. And one of the challenges that we face, which isn't even really talked about, is that sometimes recycled content gets used, but it doesn't get promoted by the company. So people don't even know that they're doing something good. They don't know to ask for it for more. The other companies don't know to replicate it. And that's just a missing opportunity to drive recycling and the demand for that material. So hopefully in this discussion today, you're gonna all meet great people, and I'm sure that there's gonna be incredible collaborations that happen between not only 1 and 2 of you, but 3 and 4, because what we try to do at this event is put everyone in the same room, because there's a big spectrum of plastic participants, and they don't always talk to each other. And the more that we can get them to mesh and have 1 + 1 + 1 = 5 or 6, then we have accomplished, quite a big thing. And that's why we're excited about doing this with Plasticity. We do work on the ocean. One of the things that we've purposely branded Plasticity around is not the ocean. We assume that people know about that issue. We assume that people know that these problems are there. We're trying to go way upstream and figure out how we can address these problems at the city level, at the company level. And the default is that when that gets fixed, you don't get it into the water and the waste stream at the end of the day, and that's the benefit. I'm happy to announce that one of our projects, actually 2 of them we announced at the Clinton Global Initiative a few years ago, are now coming of age. One is a plastic disclosure project. This is much like carbon and water reporting, but it's just about reporting your plastic use, your recovery, recycling rate, and how much waste you might generate in your institution. But if we're going to move into the circular economy, it's very hard to know how to circulate something if we haven't measured it. And this is where this tool is something that anyone can use in any country without bans, taxes, or legislation to get a better idea of what they have. And when we figure that out, we can bring out some of the low-hanging fruit and make improvements. The other app we made, and Joe is here, who built the back end of that with us, it's called Global Alert. It allows people to report trash hotspots anywhere in the world's waters. It's already in Spanish. It was partly funded by the World Bank, and that just got picked by CEO Magazine as one of the top 8 apps in the world changing the planet with technology. So we're very happy about that. And that tool is something that can help your customer base and the communities you serve in your businesses to go out and be engaged citizens and just take photos of big trash hotspots so that other stakeholders in that community can use that data to fix a problem. And when they realize they have material, then some of the solutions that you will hear about today might be able to be brought in to address that material that's now pulled out of the river or off the coastline and build that next step to prevention. So excited to have all of you here. Really thanks a lot for coming, and I hope you have an incredible day because the speakers are all incredible.